It's Thursday, October 31st. Happy Halloween, everyone. I got my orange on to celebrate. This is Markets Daily, hosted by me, Jen Sanasi. As you know, if you are a regular watcher of this show, on this show, we navigate the currents shaping the crypto market. So whether you're actively trading or just fascinated by what's going on in this industry, this show is your compass to navigating what has happened, what's happening, and what might happen in the future. Today, we are welcoming to the show Robinhood Crypto General Manager Johann Kerbrat. We are gearing up for November. I am doing good given given everything that's happening. How are you doing?
Pretty good as well. Excited for Halloween this week.
Yeah, are you dressing up?
I am dressing up as a Mario, I believe, and my son will be a Paw Patrol, so should be
I
fun.
love that. We got Paw Patrol and we got Mario. I look forward. I hope that you tweet some of those photos.
Sounds good.
All right. Besides Halloween, Johan, what are you watching this morning?
Like the clearly the crypto market are moving this morning. We're seeing a lot of volume on Bitcoin, so it's always interesting for us on Robinhood Crypto. We want to make sure that everything goes well on the platform, and so we keep watching the metrics.
Robinhood has really become a platform for folks to dip their toes into crypto trading, crypto investing. How are you seeing your users interact with crypto as we head to the end of the year and we head into the November election?
Yeah, we actually have a lot of different customer segments. So we have the beginner, like you mentioned, who only want to dip their toe, so they really trust our platform to custody the assets. But we also have very advanced traders that are actually doing a lot of things on the platform. They are using some of our advanced charts. They're using some of our advanced order types. And then we have the people that are a bit more like crypto focused. So they don't want to keep the asset on the platform. They either want to self custody or they want to use Web3, transfer to their self custody wallet and start going a bit more on the DeFi space. So we are seeing the three, and the big change from this year, I think, is also the ETFs that have launched for both Bitcoin and Ethereum, and so we are seeing a lot of activity also on the brokerage side and on the retirement side, where people are investing into this ETF in a different way because they don't have the underlying assets, but they are still exposing themselves to the crypto asset overall.
Joanne, I want to get your opinion on this. We've unpacked some of this data here on this show and previous episodes. And it seems at this time of the year, retail traders are still kind of sitting on the sidelines while whales are participating in a lot of the activity. Talk to me a little bit about the retail trader activity on your platform. Are you seeing new users who are interested in crypto because of any of the different catalysts that we have coming up or that have happened? Or is it the same users that keep coming back?
I don't know if I have exact data on this one, but I think you can look at the volume on different platforms like CoinMarketCap, and clearly we are not in one of these like higher volume period that we have seen, for example, in March or April. But I think we are seeing a lot more activity on chain, and so that's usually a good signal that there is a lot of interest and that people are actually doing things. But sometimes it's less on the centralized platform and more on the decentralized platform. And I think we're seeing a lot of that on different platform like Solana blockchain, for example. We are seeing a lot of activity lately. We're also seeing a lot of activity on Ethereum as always. But right now what we are mostly looking at is people going on Robinhood, buying whatever asset they're looking for, and transferring them out of Robinhood and being a bit more active on chain.
I got to ask your opinion on this. And if you don't have an answer, it's okay. But you brought up Ethereum, and one of our previous shows in the last week, one of our guests said Ethereum may turn into the BlackBerry of crypto. But like you said, we're seeing some more volume on crypto on Ethereum. We're seeing people interact with Ethereum. What, how do you think how do you think the Ethereum ecosystem rather is going to progress as we head into 2025?
I think, I mean, I wouldn't make such a strong statement as this one. I think we are still seeing a lot of the development on Ethereum. So either the layer two or the layer three, I think at least the 3 or 4 big layer three launch or announce that they are launching this year. We're also seeing the Ethereum Foundation being very active. If you look at the grants that they are giving and a lot of the change that they've made this year alone, around like reducing the cost for gas fees, also making sure that there is not too much burn at the same time. Like I really think we're seeing a lot of development going on, and so I think it's too premature to call them the next BlackBerry.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I don't wanna wish that fate on anyone who's building anything. Okay, I wanna talk into some news of the day. We learned that Robinhood is jumping into politics prediction markets, and we are just days away from the election here in the United States. Talk to me about what went into the decision to launch just a week out of elections.
Yeah, so Robinhood Derivative launched the presidential election contract, and the main reason for the launch is that we're always evaluating how we can best serve our customers and really support the mission of Robinhood, which is to democratize finance for all. And event contracts is something that our customer have been consistently asking for. The same way that they've been asking for ETF, for stocks, for crypto, for futures, for options. Event contracts was one of its recurring theme, and so the way we work at Robinhood is usually we have this feedback loop with our customer. We want to make sure that we understand what they are looking for, and since we've seen that it was like one of the big requests, we decided to build it.
And so, how do you think about going head to head with some of the prediction markets that have been out there, who have had the contracts uh, available for much longer? Is that competition for you, or are you just uh, launching this product for the users that are already on the platform who are already asking for it?
Well, I think it's a combination of both, right? Like we always are building things for everyone, not just a very specific customer segment. And usually what we see is that people are interested maybe for one product and then they're starting to use other products. So it's not necessarily just for the current user on the platform. I don't think for us we're seeing competition as a bad thing. Usually, it's actually a good thing. We can show that Robinhood is usually better at handling the UX, the UI, the education to make sure that people understand what they are doing on the platform. And overall, if there are platforms that are a bit more specialized, it's the same thing that we're seeing in crypto. Like people that really want specific features that we don't have, they will use this other platform. But for usually for the majority of our customers, they are very happy with the product that we offer.
Prediction markets are something that we talk about on the show a lot. It's become one of the hot topics, tying the election in the US together with crypto. What do you think, just as someone who operates in this industry, the prediction market platforms are going to look like after the US elections? Do you think that that momentum is going to be sustained and we're going to see folks looking to bet on the outcomes of other events? That's just going to become part of not only the crypto ecosystem, but the way people interact on the internet?
Yeah, I think people are excited to have a new tool to engage in real-time decision making. And I think overall, event contracts are going to be a new asset class that really give access to people to have access to events as they unfold. And I think, in the past, there was different tools like futures that were kind of giving you similar possibility on the outcome of what's happening in real life. And I think that's going to be one of the other tools. And just wanting to make clear on this one that our crypto product is separated from this event contract product. It's offered by a separate entity within Robinhood.
Yeah, sorry for maybe blurring the waters there. Definitely the two converge on other platforms, but on Robinhood, they are very separate. Hey everyone, did you know 52 million Americans own cryptocurrencies? That's not just a number, it's a movement, economic, social, and political. Decentralized finance, blockchain, and digital currencies are more than buzzwords, they are the future. This November, it's on us to show up and step up. We need to protect crypto to ensure it continues to fuel innovation and freedom for our families and businesses. Don't let this opportunity slip by. The future of crypto is on the line. Make your voice heard this November and pledge to vote now at standwithcrypto.org/pledge. I want to talk about another piece of news that was launched earlier this month. That's crypto transfers in Europe. launched. Talk to me about what went into making that decision and what regions you might be looking at next.
Yeah, so we launched Robinhood Crypto in the EU last year in some of the eligible countries of the EU, and we mostly focused on investing and trading on the platform for the past 6 to 7 months. And of course, transfer was one of the most requested feature for our customer. And so the same thing that I've said before, like we really talked to our customer a lot, and we wanted to make sure that we could give them the tools that they were looking for. And so we're starting to see a lot of these activities that I was mentioning before, where people are excited to buy on Robinhood and then transfer out into the Web3 space. And I think, on the EU side of things, we also have very interesting features like we're staking for Solana. We offer like a lot of new assets as well, and so we're seeing a lot of people being going in the other way where they are depositing onto the platform and then trading or staking and things like this. The way that we are looking for the next year is really to take advantage of the regulatory framework in the EU. There's this new framework called MiCA that is going to kind of level set all the EU countries for digital assets and giving clear rules that platform like ours can follow to make sure that we are respecting the framework. And we're really excited about it because we think that the EU is a great market, and under MiCA we will be able to really offer the right product sets to everyone in the EU without differences.
You mentioned new assets there. I saw you tweet recently about three new assets: Immutables, IMX, Render Networks, Render, and Layer Zero's Zero. There is a common theme there that I'm noticing, but talk to me about launching these three new assets for the EU market.
Yeah, I mean, there is really no big secret there. So usually what we do is we get requests from our customers. They are able to tell us what asset they are looking for on the platform. And then we have a listing committee that will meet and discuss all the different operations for listing an asset. So, can we support it on the platform? The security side, uh, compliance side, like making sure that everything is kind of in a good place. And if everyone on the committee is open to listing this asset, then we usually do it in the next few weeks. So it's something that take place quite often, and I think overall we are pretty excited to see that people are always happy when we list new assets, and there is always a lot of discussion online. So we're excited about that.
Well, you talk about user demand there. What does the user demand behind these three specific tokens maybe tell you about what retail investors are watching or interested in as we head towards the end of the year?
I think it really depends. We see a lot of excitement for new technology. So for layer three, we saw a lot of customers excited to understand the technology. What does it mean for the underlying assets? All these kind of things. We also see a lot of people excited for assets that are overall, well positioned into the market. They are adding something new into the platform or like these kind of things. But overall, I will say that we see a lot of requests, and so it's hard sometimes to define a specific trend or something like that. I think people are excited for multiple reasons, and we have a very wide user base, and so because of that, we're seeing very very different requests.
Talk to me a little bit about taking that user feedback and actually implementing it into a product, right? Robinhood is a traditional company. I wouldn't say Web3 native, although very Web3 focused now. And community is really a core part of Web3 native companies. That feedback loop is really kind of integrated into business models and Web3 companies. Talk to me about how you at Robinhood take that feedback in and separate out what's useful, what you're going to implement, and what may just be part of community noise, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of ways to do that. So first of all, I will say Robinhood is a very new type of startups. When we think about financial company, usually we think about the old guard, but I think Robinhood is very much in line with everything that you see in the Silicon Valley. And in my past experience, I worked at multiple big startup here, and it's very similar. So what we do is a lot of user research. We spend time with our customers. We show them the product. For example, if we talked about transfer earlier. So when we launched transfer, we showed the kind of the app to the customer, and we see how they interact with it, and we see if they see any problem, if they have any complication, to understand like what they're doing. And based on that, we're going to go back to our product manager and designer, and we're going to redo that until we feel like this is actually a good product, and most of the key core metrics that we were looking for are fixed. And then on the specific decision about a specific feature, there are multiple aspects of this. Like, is it just a one-time thing? Are we seeing this request just for like 2 or 3 weeks, or are we seeing it continuously? I think for listing assets, for example, is something that we pay attention a lot. Is it just a quick thing for like a weekend, or for a week, or is it something that we see regularly on a monthly basis? And same thing for some of the features that we're looking for. Web3 is a very big space. If we were to build every single feature that are available on the Web3 world, it will take us decades, I think, to build that at Robinhood. And so what we've been focusing on is really building our self-custody wallet, Robinhood Wallet. And so if people are interested about an asset that we do not support, or are interested in a feature that we do not support natively, they can always transfer their asset to the Robinhood Wallet and then interact with the Web3 world a bit more.
All right. And just as we wrap up the show here, if you were to direct people who are just becoming interested in the crypto markets to one resource or one chart or one piece of educational material, what would it be?
One specifically, it's hard to say. What I will say is, doing research for anything, for any investment, it is important. There are educational platform everywhere, like Robinhood has some, where you can learn the differences between what is a cryptocurrency versus traditional investments. Also differences between specific cryptocurrencies. So, really just reading about it and understanding it before investing is very important. And also, one thing that we're always seeing a lot in platform like ours is there are a lot of scam happening on the space, not just on crypto, but in every space. And so making sure that if someone is telling you to do something, try to understand first before doing it, and making sure that it's something that you really want to do.
Joanne, I think that is great advice, and these scams are becoming more and more advanced. So everyone should be careful out there and take that advice to heart. Joanne, thank you so much for joining the show today.
Thank you for having me.
And to everyone who's watching or listening, thank you for coming on this journey with me to better understand the crypto markets. If you enjoy watching Markets Daily, subscribe to our YouTube channel, give us a thumbs up. And if you like listening, subscribe to the CoinDesk Podcast Network that is available on all podcast platforms. It has been a pleasure. We will see you tomorrow.